Okay, everyone, welcome to another edition of Unstoppable REI. I'm here with my new friend, Zach Fisher. Now, Zach, this is really kind of a continuation from our last conversation, man. You were hitting me with all kind of information I think that could be made into an action-packed drama movie. So hopefully you'll share some of that stuff but today. But anyway, I don't want to waste your time. Let's get right into it. Let's start with your 30-second elevator pitch, your story. Tell me how it all started, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First, I just want to, say thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I'm excited to speak with you and your listeners, and hopefully I can, drop some knowledge. We'll see if we can't make something happen today. But yeah, so a quick kind of backstory for you.
Yeah.
I grew up in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. I ended up going to Texas A&M. Always kind of been entrepreneurial minded, and ended up getting into a furniture franchise. It was going very well for me. Kind of upset though, because I was landlocked. I really couldn't grow past, the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Right.
And then I had a buddy that showed me wholesaling, and I had never heard of it. I never knew anything about it. I always thought you needed a lot of money to get into real estate. And when he showed me wholesaling and flipping paper, I was like, man, this is a game changer.
Crazy.
Took me Yeah, absolutely, brother. It took me a little bit of time to get my first deal, but once I finally did, and I tasted that success, I've just been rolling ever since the last 6 years. Of course, it's been up and down, which I'm sure we'll dive into, but that's kind of a quick elevator pitch for you.
Okay, nice. So what would you say? Now that's kind of interesting. I kind of forgot about that part. So it's furniture. I mean, you've done a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm gonna we'll just keep going. So what is something that you wish you would have known when you started your career? The real estate career. So we'll focus on the real estate investing. We'll tie in the other stuff too. But what do you wish you would have known when you first started?
Man, what I wish I would have done was tapped into somebody that knew what they were doing sooner. Either hired a mentor or, not try to go at it alone. A lot of times, like, I came from a industry that I was successful at. And so you just kind of think, oh man, I can figure this out. It's not that hard. And you just start diving in. And next thing you know, you're blowing all this money trying to figure things out that you didn't necessarily need to do if you would have just tapped in with somebody or asked questions, go to meetups, do something that gets around people that know what they're doing.
Yeah. Do you have a coach right now that you work with or any kind of mentors? Do you? Okay.
I do. Yes. I actually I pay Nick Perry to coach me and his team. And so we meet bi-weekly, kind of deep dives the business, kind of, helps figure out where I need to go, what I need to do. And I believe in that. I believe in not only coaches in business, but, spiritual coaches, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm 100% about it now.
It's crazy. And I agree with you 100%, by the way. A lot of people, I don't know, they seem to shun away from that or think that, why do I need a coach? Or, I mean, it's like every successful person on the planet has a coach. I mean, from athletes to actors to, what I mean? So this is kind of crazy. So I always, when people say that, I always kind of like, man, okay, so I know where you're heading. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, people don't think it's worth the money, but it really is, because they're going to take you to a whole new level, and when I first talked to Nick, he said, hey, Zach, you're talking to Noah before the flood, like I've been where you've been and I'm on the other side now. I can teach you these things. And he has. I mean, he took my business from just Dallas Fort Worth to the whole nation. He really taught me the inside sales model and the marketing system and things that need to be done. And it's just revolutionized my business 100%.
Yeah. And it's just crazy when you think about, I mean, and that's crazy. He said, I'm like Noah before the flood. I mean, it's like, dude, if I would have known all the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I've lost, if you could have saved me that money, I mean, come on. I mean, would you pay 10,000 to save 100,000? I mean, come on, man, it's crazy. Anyway, that's a whole nother episode. We'll have to put that together. So let me ask you this, man. What would you say is your biggest failure? Now I know everybody has a different definition of failure. Fail forward. I don't fail, I learn. I get that. But what would you say is your biggest failure and what you learned from that?
Man, so it's tough because I've had a couple good ones, but I would say my biggest failure is partnering with the wrong people. So I've had two major partners that have not worked out well for me. The first one, it was one of those, I partnered with a good buddy. thinking, oh, we grew up together, we're great friends, this is going to be like a match made in heaven, but it wasn't. It was wrong, completely wrong, right? And that one really devastated me because he was a good buddy of mine. It was kind of like a really nasty divorce. And really we were both good at similar things, and then we were both bad at similar things, so we didn't complement each other as we needed to. And then my second mentor, or not mentor, but my second partner was silver tongued devil, like really listened to what he had to say and not watching what he was doing, right? And so he caught me at a low point because I had just recently got out of my old partnership, trying to kind of figure this whole wholesaling real estate game out, because I had just left my other industry because my last partner convinced me to sell my business. So now I'm kind of like, a duck out of water, trying to figure out what I'm doing. And so, when I partnered up with him, he had told me that he knew he'd been flipping homes since 2001. It's now 2019. I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I'll find the deals. He'll flip them. We'll have a great time. But come to find out, he flipped homes in 2001, not since 2001. And that's a major difference. I mean, the climate's different. There's market crashes that's happened. I mean, a lot of things that have changed in 18, 19 years. So those are what I would say would be my two biggest mistakes. And I have other partnerships now. And what I learned is I'm partnered with people that are very good at other things. I see my strengths and what I bring to the table. And then I look at what they're good at and what they bring to the table, and it's completely opposite of me. So I need them, they need me. It's a yin yang type thing. And we're able to rock and roll that way.
That makes total sense. As you were saying that, I was just thinking of what a friend of mine said. He told me that that the third wife is the keeper. And now I only have one wife. I've been married 31 years, and I'm blessed to have married up and keep her. But it was kind of funny to me, like, man. But it sounds like that was your situation. Like, you went through a couple different marriages. You mentioned kind of rough divorces. But now, and are you partnering with somebody currently, or are you just doing your own thing now?
So in real estate, I'm actually not partnered with anybody.
Cool.
It's just my business. Now I have guys that have been with me for a long time that are pretty much like partners. I mean, my COO, he gets paid on every single deal. So he has like equity I guess they call it shadow equity, right? Where he's not actually on the business, but he gets that shadow equity in a way. So, but then in other ventures, like I'm in a solar venture, where we own a solar company nationwide. I'm partnered with 3 other gentlemen, and we just all bring something different to the table. We got like a Wolf of Wall Street type closer. We got a gentleman who's like the engineer. He's very numbers analytical, and then we got like the facilitator, like a Chris Paul kind of guy, make sure everybody gets the rock. And then I'm the marketer, right? I'm the guy that makes sure we get leads flowing in and that kind of stuff. I get to talk to people like you and make videos.
Nice. I love it, man. The Wolf of Wall Street. So this guy is a maniac. I mean, he's like, that's pretty high level, right? Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, we call him the Wolf. We call him the Wolf of Solar, man. This guy's relentless.
He's killer.
He's just closing multiple deals a day, every single day. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. That's a very valuable skill to have, which is completely different, like you said, than sales or marketing. And I think a lot of people just put them all in one bucket, but it's completely different.
It is. It totally is.
Yeah. So somebody wants to start off, wants to get in this business. What advice would you give them to get started?
Yeah. So if you want to get started and you're brand new, I actually run a Facebook group for people who are brand new that they, if they want to learn. And that's the key, is you got to get involved and be around people that know what they're doing. Watch YouTube daily. I mean, I'm constantly studying YouTube. There's so much free content out there. I mean, I even have a YouTube channel with a lot of free stuff. You want to go to meetups. You want to interact with people. There's a lot of times, if you just simply ask somebody, hey, man, this is where I'm at. I'm kind of stuck. Can you take me? Can you kind of point me in the right direction? People are nice enough and they'll do it. Now, if you just go and say, hey, I need like these 12 things answered, somebody's probably going to ignore you. But if you ask, hey, man, this is where I'm at. What can I do? And they just get involved, read books, do whatever you can to watch podcasts like this, do whatever you can to absorb knowledge so that you have a better understanding. I mean, there's so many great podcasts and just YouTube videos out there that have just a wealth of knowledge for people to get involved.
Yeah, the amount of knowledge and stuff that's out there is crazy. And it's interesting, like you mentioned, um, successful people, in my experience, are really they're open to helping, but I think they appreciate you valuing their time. So I mean, so if people come to me and say, hey, what, can I buy you a cup of coffee and and talk to you for a couple minutes or whatever, and I learned that by offering to take people to lunch or whatever. I mean, otherwise, if you just somebody just like, hey, can I pick your brain, which is code for can I have free information? It's like, nah, no, I'm I'm busy. But you gotta come at people, you gotta value their time, I guess is all I'm really trying to say. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I get DMs all the time on Instagram, and it's like,
Yeah.
the ones where they're like, "Hey Zach, I have this, like I'm stuck in this one part.
Mm,
Can you help me?"
yeah.
I'm much more apt to help that person than somebody that's like, "Hey man, I'm really interested in wholesaling. Can you teach me about acquisitions, dispositions, how to market, how to, get a contract?" I mean, it's like, bro, you just like vomited all over me. I don't
Yeah.
even want to open that message because it's just too much.
Too much. Yeah. That's crazy. So, but speaking of resources, I know you mentioned YouTube. What would you say are maybe the top 2 or 3 best resources that that have been good for you, valuable for you, that you'd recommend?
As far as on YouTube or just
Oh,
resources in
just
general?
resources in general. Yeah, books, YouTube, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, just resources in general.
Yeah, so I think YouTube is number one. I
Yeah.
think YouTube University, as they say, right,
Yeah.
is there's so many guys out there, Brent Daniels,
Oh
Sean
yeah.
Terry, that just they give the whole game away for free.
Yeah.
So I think those guys are huge. Secondly, podcasts. A lot of us are driving to and from work.
Sure.
We're sitting at our desk doing just monotonous work. You can just be listening to a podcast. They got a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah.
And then as far as the third one, I would say networking. I would
Okay.
say guys that you network with. I mean, I have like I'm obviously a part of masterminds, and they're guys that you meet in those masterminds. I mean, I talk to them every day, every
Yeah.
other day. Hey, this is where I'm at, or they say the same thing to me, and you kind of can like ping pong off each other and figure
Yeah.
out what's working, what's not working. Hey, I'm in this territory right now, just slanging deals. You guys need to go here, or they're telling me that, vice versa. So I would say networking is number three.
Okay. Going back to your earlier comment about coaching and that kind of stuff, what amount of money would you say that you invest in yourself and in coaching in a year? Would you say roughly?
And man, tens of thousands of dollars, from
Okay.
seminars to books to course. I mean, I'm always buying courses
Yeah. Yeah.
on
Yeah.
something, anything
Okay.
I want to learn. I mean, I'm buying a course. I'm trying to see who's in uh, that's really good in that space that I
Okay.
can learn from. And coaching calls. I mean, not only do I get a bi-weekly coaching call from Nick, or
Yeah.
bi-monthly,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm also paying for additional coaching calls,
Okay.
to, hey man, I'm stuck on this PPC
Yeah.
campaign. Can you help tweak it for me? It's just the little things like that. I'm always spending money to learn.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, and the people that are super successful, I mean, there's a connection between money, invested in learning and knowledge and, bank account balance. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, it just
Absolutely.
is. So speaking of that, who would you say are maybe the top, I would say maybe 3 most influential people in your life? I mean, business,
Well,
life in general. Yeah, go ahead.
sure. Number one, I got to go with Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm a huge
Nice.
believer, so I got to go with number one. I mean, I
Yeah.
I start my day with Jesus. He's there throughout the day. I end my day with him, so I'd say he's definitely number one. Man, as far as the other guys, I mean, I follow a lot of guys.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
far as right now, this year, Alex Ramosi is somebody that I've been studying a lot. He's been blowing up everywhere all over social media, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of it is because he's just giving out free
Yes.
material.
Yeah, I love
He's
him.
not trying to get anything back. He's just giving it away.
Yeah.
So he's very big. And then man, it's tough on number three. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with either Ed Milet or Grant Cardone. I study both of
Okay.
those guys a lot also.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, those are all heavy hitters, man. I especially love Alex.
Yeah,
you've read his book, right? 100 million.
I
Okay.
have.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. All right. Again, I think we've got the potential for about 2, 3 other episodes here. So we'll have to talk about that. Just a
Let's
lot of stuff.
go.
Just try to keep it on track. So let's see. If you had to start over again, from scratch, lost everything, another bad partnership, divorce, whatever it is, what are maybe the first 2, 3, 4 steps that you would take? I mean, you lost everything, starting over.
Okay, so let's say I lost everything and I had no money. This is
Okay.
exactly what I would do.
Okay.
I would network with other wholesalers and I would say, hey, I can get your deal sold. I would be the guy that sells the deals, right?
Okay.
I would get every buyer in that market that I possibly could, and I would just build up my account until I had enough money to start marketing, and then I would start marketing. And then as leads came in a little bit, I'm also working on my acquisition, but I'm still focused on nurturing my JV
Okay.
my JV guys over here that are going to
Yeah.
be feeding me,
Yeah.
because that, a lot of there's a wholesalers don't realize how big of a market that actually is. But if you're good at it, now there's a lot of wholesalers out there that act like they are, and then they
Yeah.
just go and they just send the deal to someone else.
Okay.
And the whole astro flipping model or whatever, which
Yeah.
is kind of a pain in the industry, in my opinion,
Okay.
right now. But that's what I would do. And then over time, whenever my account got big enough and I was marketing enough, I would hire something that I'm not good at. So I'm good at sales and marketing. I'd bring on an admin. I'd hire a VA that's an admin. He's taking care of all the the list pulling or any of the monotonous stuff, the CRM kind of stuff that I don't want to have to deal with. And then from there, I don't like paperwork, so I'm hiring a transactional coordinator after that.
Okay.
And I'm going to still be doing all the sales because I can handle sales all day. It gives me energy. But talking to you gives me energy. Networking gives me energy. Doing paperwork and the monotonous stuff does not, right? The who, not how, like Dan Sullivan talks about. It's a great book. I recommend everybody read it. And then after that, I'm going to start building sales guys under me. And I would just slowly start building it up from there. That's exactly what I would do if I had to start over.
Man, that is gold. That's like $1 million advice right there, man. I love that. I might just keep this episode for myself. I'm not gonna even show it to
There
anybody.
you go, brother.
So what is a myth, man, a common myth within the real estate investment industry that you can debunk? Something that it's a common myth.
I mean, what I believed before I got into the industry was that you needed a lot of money to get involved.
Okay.
Or you needed to know a lot about real estate to get involved, but really you don't. If you know how to talk to somebody on the phone and you know how to basically drive around a neighborhood and write down an address, then you can wholesale, Now it's harder than that. That sounds way simple.
Yeah.
But that's ultimately what it is. Everybody can get into the real estate game by wholesaling. And then you can build up from there. But that's exactly what I would say. Number one myth is everybody thinks you need a lot of money to get involved.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I think it's probably the number one myth. When I ask that question, the number one myth that people want to debunk. So before I ask my last question, man, how can people connect with you if they want to reach out to you? What's the best ways to do that?
Sure. No, great question, man. I'm actually on like every social media platform. I got my own Facebook page, got my own Facebook group too. Instagram at Zach Fisher with 2 R's at the end, FISCHER. I also have a link on my profile too, so they can connect with me on all my stuff. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not on Twitter. I never was a tweeter. So, but I got my own YouTube channel. It's all at Zach Fisher. So ZACFISCHER. And yeah, they can connect with me. I'm always writing people back in my messages. I'm very, very interactive. So yeah, absolutely, man. Connect with me. I'd love to talk to you. Anybody in my group, I mean, I give out free game every single Friday and throughout the week, but we go live every Friday in my group just to answer questions, help people, to learn about wholesaling and how they can, this is a life-changing business. I mean, this is a business you can make 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 off just one deal, and it can become an ATM machine for people that build it right. And so that's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's great, man. And actually, I do have one other question before I ask my last one. If you were on this side of the computer asking the questions, I mean, what would you ask that I'm not asking? I mean, what is it that you want people to know maybe that I'm not asking you about?
Man.
Anything? I mean, you're throwing out a lot of stuff. I mean, if that's it, I mean, I just was curious. Just want to make sure.
No, I mean, I think a lot of times people want to know, because a lot of people are out there, they're solo wholesalers, right? And they want to know, like I get this question asked to me all the time. So Zach, who's the first person I should hire? Right. And I always say, you got to see it. What are you best at? Hire the opposite. Because that's what I messed up on. When I first was getting started, I hired what I was best at, and then I was doing all of the monotonous things that drove me nuts.
Okay.
So like I have buddies that are great at marketing,
Yeah.
but they're not salesmen. So they need to hire an acquisition guy first. But then I have people who are great salesmen, and then they're not good marketers or good at the monotonous stuff. And so they need to, I would recommend hiring out the pieces that you're not best at, because the pieces that you are good at, you're going to get energy from those. Like me talking to you, I get fired up. I'm jacked up. I'm not being drained by any means, but then there's other people who are very introverted. This would absolutely kill them. And so, that's what I would recommend. That's what would be the question I would ask.
Yeah, that's great advice. So, so here's the deal. This is the last question. If you Google the term real estate investor failure rate, you'll see that 95% of real estate investors fail, which is crazy. A lot of times people think that I'm just making up that number, and they Google it and they see it. I mean, it's crazy. So two questions. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. I started this, and that's why I call it Unstoppable REI, because, I want to know what makes people unstoppable where failure is concerned. I mean, you obviously make a lot of money. So two questions. Number one, how would you define the word unstoppable? And then what are you doing to make yourself unstoppable where failure is concerned? I mean, an industry where, you're achieving massive success in an industry with a 95% failure rate. I mean, how are you doing that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I got to revert back to our original conversation, and that's just tenacity, right?
Yes.
Absolutely tenacity. I mean, if you look up, to me, unstoppable means just you literally don't stop no matter what happens to you, right? And I mean, if we were to go back through my entire book of life, you would see a lot of failures. I mean, a lot of things that we could uncover that people would be probably shocked at, or like, man, I can't believe you are still doing this real estate game after all the stuff that you went through. And it just comes down to just not quitting. No matter what happened, no matter how many times I got punched in the face, like Mike Tyson says, the plan may change, but I didn't stop pursuing the plan. You know what I mean? That's the other half of his quote that he doesn't ever talk about. It's like, you get punched in the face and it sucks. And your plan may change, but you just continue to pursue a plan, right? In the same arena. And so, and it's countless, right? You look at Kevin Hart. He took him 15 years to become famous. Logan Paul, 8 years, he still only had 4,000 YouTube subscribers. Now he has the biggest YouTube channel in the world. So it's just consistent, you can't stop, and everybody that's successful has what I call an eating shit period, right? The Rock, I mean, everyone has that time where it's like, man, dude, this sucks, but I didn't quit. And so now I'm on the other side of the mountain, because I made it on the other side of the mountain, and now I'm reaping those rewards. And people are like, oh, it's an overnight success, but they didn't see the eating shit period. Because they weren't famous, they weren't making it, so no one cared.
Right. So would you say that you can't achieve that massive success without that period of time?
I would say yes, because a lot of times when people have fast success, then when it does get hard, they quit, because they're like, man, I had fast success. I should have made it, right? I mean, what's going on here?
Right. They would build up that muscle, which is crazy. I saw this, and I am enjoying talking to you so much that I'm trying to just keep it in control here. But I'll say this, because we're gonna have to definitely do this again. But I read
Let's
this.
Do it, brother.
All right, I read this quote, or maybe it was a video. Anyway, this guy, he was like a Navy SEAL general or whatever, and he was a general but had been a Navy SEAL, and he was talking about in training. They would train in this particular one of the parts of the training. They were in this body of water where there were sharks. And his superiors would say, hey, we never lost anybody to sharks, so don't worry, whatever. But if a shark does come, okay, number one, don't swim away, okay? And number two, I know, is it crazy? Don't swim away. And then if the shark turns and looks at you like he's gonna come and eat you, stand there and punch him in the nose, and he'll turn around. Now I thought to myself, that's courage, dude. We're talking about unstoppable. It's like, okay, sharks are coming at me and I'm not running away, which I could kind of understand not running away. But I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that? That's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna take some serious cojones to sit there and punch a shark in the nose, you know? I mean,
Right. Yeah.
your
Yeah.
natural instinct is to
It's the
run.
run.
So,
Yeah. But it's really not that much different than a big, like you said, you get punched in the face, you lose all your money, I mean, the relative effect is the same. I got this big monster, scary thing that's happening to me, and so I have a choice. Am I gonna just shut it all down and walk away? Am I gonna fight it out? And anyway, man, it's just crazy. But go ahead.
I mean, you're absolutely correct. I mean, the natural instinct for anybody
Yeah,
is, man, this is very difficult, and so therefore I should stop. But it's funny because when we're in the gym, what do
yeah.
they say? They say go to failure. The like you need to literally beat yourself up in
I
order
know.
for your muscles to grow. But then that we leave the gym and
Yeah,
we don't think that way. We're like, oh man, this is difficult. That means that I am resisting this, so I should stop.
yeah. And the total opposite is the truth. Is you should
Mhm.
start. In fact, really, it doesn't even. You're not really doing anything until you start hurting and resisting against that pain. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So anyway, it's
Yep.
crazy. But man, listen, Zach, dude, man, I don't even have any words, dude. I this has been great. I was so looking forward to talking with you. But we're gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna be on the Friday
Absolutely.
morning. I'm gonna have to check you out on Friday morning. I just joined your group yesterday. I was trying to post, so I was hoping you got to approve me. I don't know if I'm approved yet, but
I think I'm pretty sure you are, brother.
am I?
Yeah, my bad. I my assistant. She's been sick the last 2 days, so I
Okay.
apologize about that.
No, no
But yes,
problem.
she should have got you in today for
Okay,
sure.
I wasn't trying to call you out, dude. I'm sorry. I was trying
Oh
to.
no, you're good, bro. You're
Okay,
good.
in
No
front of
worries.
multi-millions of people here, but but anyway, no, cool. So let's do this again. I appreciate your time, and yeah, man, just keep it up, man. I just guys like you are so inspiring to me because I mean I'm not just I'm not an old guy, but there weren't. I mean, they're just I just appreciate people that are doing what you do because we can. I mean, all of us. I mean, iron sharpens iron. We can talk to each other and learn and grow. That's what masterminding is all about. And I just every time I meet guys like you, I just am glad about that. So I appreciate your time, man. And for real, let's do it again, okay?
Man, I'm totally down to do it again. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
I'm an abundance mindset kind of guy. I think the
yeah,
more you give out, the more you receive.
yeah,
I do not have the mindset of, hey, I got to keep everything together. To me, I
yeah.
know whenever I was young and I was new to this game, trying to figure it out, I wish I, would have had people that would have showed me what to
Totally.
do. And that's all I want to do, man, is help others.
Well, that's what you're doing, sir. So we'll talk to you real soon, my man. I'm getting all kind of dings. I think that I only have a certain amount of time on this thing, but anyway, dude, Zach. So you take it easy, man, and we'll talk again real soon. Okay.
You too, Rufus.
All
Thanks,
right.
brother.
You bet.
Have a
Bye
good
now.
one.
You too.